finalizing the preparation. That's why we are talking in Spanish, but nothing relevant.
Okay. Ok, David Fonseca. Y convertir en anfitrión.
Hi, Mónica.
Ok.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. I'm here again.
Okay.
Hey, let's go. I think that more or less we have less 10 minutes. The idea also is to give you time to enjoy the training, to enjoy the meeting. And just so remember that the best option, I think, is that all of you, please, at this moment, to write your name in the chat. And then you will use this system to make the attendance of the training. Okay, then I ask you again, because we have done a new initial in the Lucia Garcia. Okay, perfect. I will write also my name. My name is David Fonseca from La Salle. Hello, Sergi, from La Salle Congress.
David, meanwhile, people is writing her messages in the chat. Could you give me permissions for sharing the screen?
Yes. Participants, Alicia Moore, make co-host. Yes, now you are a co-host.
Perfect.
Hello, Sergi. Please.
Hello.
Please, Natalie, Alessia, Ilenia, Emmanuel, write your names and your affiliations in the chat, please. Will I, Okay, the idea, just to remember, is that we have this afternoon 3 pills. The first one will be managed by Alicia. Hello, Alicia. And she talks about how to address some issues about diversity. In the second one, we will connect with 2 members of my team that will be in other lab in the La Salle to show us how to make a 3D impression. And finally, the last pill of this afternoon, I will show more or less some ideas, some possible examples to develop an augmented reality exercise in the schools, in this case with free software, in order to view augmented reality objects, elements in using mobile or smartphones. Then remember that on Monday, starting also 3 p.m. local time from here from Spain, we will develop the final 3 pills. The first one about educational robotics with micro:bit. the second one will be about photocomposition, and finally we will explain some issues about usability and how to make this type of test and assessment in all the process that we can develop inside of the STEAM labs in our schools and also in other spaces of our schools. Then I need also to remember, please, why your name and your affiliation, because it's very important for us to have the control of all the attendees in the meeting, in this training, and the control of the screen has Alicia. It's your time.
Okay, thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we will start with the first training, and it will be a part of theory and also a part in which you will working together with me in order to learn about how to create a co-educational and inclusive environment, and in particular how to do this in an STEAM lab. So first of all, we will have a short interactive activity in order to introduce ourselves. I know that you already shared your names in the chat, but I think this is very good to start a training after several months without meetings and without face-to-face meetings. So I will share in the chat a link. Let me. Okay, this is the correct one. So you can check the chat and click in the link. So you will have access to this Jamboard. And the idea is to take us a picture and put our name and also our institution and our area, what you are teaching. So if you are teaching science or English or anything, please put it. So it is simple. Sorry, my screen is in Spanish, but I think it's not so difficult to do. So in the right, you can, in the left, you can find this icon. So click in the picture and use camera. So the camera will be open. As you can see now, there are many things behind me because I move into another house, but take a picture. Okay, and insert. And you can put no so big, so we can put all together. And after that, a note in which I will put Alicia García Holgado, Salamanca, Spain, and computer science and education. That's are my areas working on. Okay, so after create, you have this and put here. So please start to do it and take your pictures and put your name. So this is a way to remember which is each one, and to remember the area. So please. Also, you can upload a picture or a photo that you have in the computer, okay? Okay.
Can you show us how to take a picture again, please?
Yes, yes. Here you can have this icon. It's like a mountain. So when you click there, you are upload. And the third option is camera. Okay, so the camera is open. You will have a message of your browser requesting access to your camera. And that's all. Click on the button in yellow and click on insert, upload, or something here in the right.
I request an edit access, please.
Yes, because we can only see.
Yes,
Okay.
view.
Okay.
Okay, now you can.
You can't edit.
Okay, now you can. Sorry. Okay. Great. This kind of, meanwhile you are uploading the pictures and putting the text, this kind of activity could be done also when we are in the STEAM lab, inside the STEAM lab. So it could be a very good approach to ice breaking. If we are in a face-to-face activity, it depends on the country, it depends on the measures and those things. But if we are in a face-to-face activity, we can do this also if we have a computer, and also students can introduce themselves. Maybe it is not necessary. In this case, the area is something that we need to discover our contest. But in the STEAM lab, we can do this, but focus on other things. For example, if we were working on STEAM, we can ask our students in the STEAM lab to share an object, a technological object that they like, or which is the favorite sci-fi film, or anything that can we use after to talk about the project and the learning units that will be developed in the STEAM lab. Okay, so it's a very good approach. In the online way, a Jamboard is the easier. And after, if we have several online activities, it is a very good social approach to break the barriers of the online mode. And when you are connecting to different trainings or across different online activities with the same people several days, you can come back to the Jamboard and check, okay, Gulay is this, and Gulay is working on these kind of areas. Or Francesca is from Italy. Of course, sometimes the names help, but is from Italy and she's doing this. So it is a very good approach. So on Monday, if you, before starting again the training, you can check this Jamboard and you can discover which are your other colleagues in the training. Okay. Giuseppe, I already give you access to edit, so you can. Okay. Gulay, if you are talking, we cannot hear you, okay? Okay.
I'm talking with my colleague. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, 1 minute more, and I will give you the link to finish the Jamboard and to put your picture, okay? Because we need to move on.
When you are taking photo, please close the Zoom's camera and you can take photo. If you don't close Zoom's camera, you can't take photo. Okay. Then you can open.
Okay, maybe in Windows there is this problem. Okay, in my case, I can have both. Thank you, Gulay. Okay, so we will continue because we have only 35 minutes right now. So we will continue, and after you can complete the Jamboard and share your picture, okay? I will organize later so all people can put the picture and the name. It will be great if we have many pictures. And we hope meet some of you in person in the future. So we will continue with a short introduction of something that is already available in the presentation that I already shared in the pills. So if you check the videos that we share at the beginning of the week, there is a short introduction to different concepts related to feminines, in particular because these concepts are not usually known by all the people, and sometimes there are mistakes. So if you check, there are an introduction, a short description about gender, and a sub description about stereotypes. And here today, I want to remember a stereotype concept, because when we are talking about the stereotypes, we are not only talking about gender, we are talking about different kind of ideas and misconceptions that people has related to a culture, or related to a religion, or related to different things. And sometimes stereotypes are one of the problems that we need to solve in order to create inclusive spaces and in order to promote diversity. And in particular, if we were working in the STEAM labs, we need to try to avoid stereotypes. Also, when we develop the learning units, also when we are working with the students, and also when we are collaborating between us. Sometimes it's difficult, but there will be some tips, some tools to do this. So the other concepts that you can get more information in the short video that I already shared, 5 minutes video or 8 minutes videos, so no so long, is coeducation. And coeducation is a concept that right now it is used for creating inclusive spaces. And when we talk about coeducation, that can be applied in schools, but also in university and in other learning spaces, we are working on a pedagogical approach. It's a proposal. It is not exactly the coeducation concept that we used several years ago. Several years ago, coeducation was focused on have classes and has lessons in which students from both genders, boys and girls, study together. But now, when we talk about coeducation and the concept that we will use during this training, we talk about a model in which we introduce different feminist theories. And when we talk about feminism, we are talking about equality across all people. We are not talking about equality for women. Feminists try to find equality for all people in the society. So that's why co-education, it will be a good approach for the STEAM labs, because we will try to find equality for people from different characteristics, from people from different genders, from people from different cultural backgrounds, religions, and different situations. So in order to know something more about co-education, it is important to say that it's for all the students. I try to emphasize this because usually, sometimes when we talk about feminism, we are thinking on women only. But this is not only for women, it's for create and diversity and inclusive space. So we can apply this approach in the STEAM labs, but also in our classrooms and also across the school, because there are different levels to take into account co-education. Of course, there are different levels to take into account inclusion and diversity in a learning space. So how can we check co-educational practice? I already shared definitions and more theoretical things and some indications in the last videos that I already shared. But this is something to check and to learn about how to apply co-educational practices. So we can use these topics to know, to discover how to do it. And also we can do these topics to know if we are applying or not a co-educational practice. Sorry for the picture on the right, because it's in Spanish, but the next parts are in English. So there are 3 levels to analyze the practice in order to know if it's inclusive and have into account the gender perspective. First, a checklist to know if it is a co-educational experience. If these characteristics are inside our STEAM labs and inside our projects and learning units, we are following this approach. Second level is also good practices, is to identify good characteristics of the co-educational practice. And we will focus on these 2 first levels. The last level, the level 3, is focused on change different things related to the organization of our center. And this check list is based on something in a guide provided by our ministry, by our government, in particular by the Women's Institute.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Alicia, you have showing something different because we are still viewing the Jamboard.
Yes. Okay. Gracias, David. Okay, so nothing important here. Descriptions, so it's the same that I already shared.
Okay.
But this is important. So this is the 3 levels to check the co-educational practices, and the right figure is in order to analyze this kind of practices inside the school or outside the school. Okay, so we will focus inside the school. And this is the checklist for identify co-educational practices. So there are 5 points to take into account. First of all, we need to acknowledge explicitly or implicitly that sexism exists, is manifested at the school. So when we talk about this, we need to know that there are differences inside our schools, inside the activities that we organize, and also we need to reflect about how we work with students from different cultures, from students from different sex, from different genders. And also, we need to take this into account when we define our curriculum and also when we define the STEAM labs. Also, we need to check if there are gender roles. So we need to take into account the stereotypes and the roles. So, for example, there is something very typical. When you create activities for several students in which they are working in groups, there is something very typical, and there are many studies that justify this. Girls inside groups are usually working on administrative tasks. So girls in particular, are taking notes, summarizing the discussions inside a group, this kind of role. And men, usually boys, are taking leadership roles. And this is something natural when they are working together. So if we are trying to find a coeducational space, trying to foster inclusion and diversity, we need to take into account these roles when they are working and try to avoid them. So we need to check the groups when they are working together and try to change the role inside the group in order to solve these kind of problems. Also, is it still in Jamboard? Okay. Thank you, Francesca. Okay, now. No? Now you can see the screen?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
I
okay.
wrote like 10 minutes ago.
Okay,
Then David
okay.
said to you.
Okay, sorry. Okay. And that, okay, related to the roles and trying to manage in particular, the gender roles, but also other kind of roles when you are involving, for example, students that not speak very well the language. For example, if we are in Germany and we have students from Turkey that doesn't speak very well German, we have to take into account that there will several roles. For example, students from Turkey, in the case in this situation, maybe doesn't take notes, but we need to try to promote that all people inside the group take notes in order to have different participation. So also, it is important to introduce this approach when we define the learning units. This is not only for doing inside the STEAM labs when they are working. This is also when we are defining the projects. Also, a very good coeducational practice contribute to, yeah, see?
Just one question. Yes. You are also in the level 1 slide?
Yes. See?
Okay.
Yes. We have to take also into account that the practice should contribute to develop a more equal relationship between the school members. So we are trying to create activities in the STEAM labs that foster the relationship between the students, but also between the students and the teachers involved. And also something very important that I already mentioned. It is important to always take into account some values such as equality, tolerance, respect, and conflict resolution in order to ensure that we are creating an inclusive and diversity space. I know that this is very simple, but are the base. Also, there are a second checklist. And in this checklist, if you combine with the videos that I already record, you can find different ideas to promote coeducation. And in particular, there are many indications focused on apply active methodologies. So some of the indications to create coeducational practice are already in the guidelines of create an STEAM lab. This is something what we did. So when we are working on a coeducational space, we are trying to involve students in an active way, and also to give them the power to share their ideas and to take decisions. And we need as teachers to manage that they are working together, not working in the same project. It is different. Also, it is very important to break with the traditional school dynamics. And this is something that we will do inside the STEAM lab. Also, it's very important to promote discovery. So when we promote discovery, we are giving the power also to the students. So if we define a learning units in the STEAM labs, we are not giving them all the rules. We are giving them the power to define their own ideas, to design and to discuss between them. If we are working on individual learning units, so if they are not working in groups, also we can organize activities to exchange ideas. So maybe they can share their own ideas, their own projects, and they can get feedback from the other students. Also, we need to take into account when we create contents or when we share pictures and images, that the images reflect diversity. So also we need to take into account diversity when we select pictures, multimedia materials, when we create documents. Also, we need to take into account gender neutral language in some way. Okay, there are many discussions about gender neutral languages, and there are many ways to do it in each country and in each language. But taking into account when we talk or when we share samples, we are taking into account the different characteristics of our students. And sometimes this is not easy because there are many backgrounds, and sometimes we are affected by stereotypes also. So for create our education for equality in the STEAM labs, we need to focus mainly on eliminate the stereotypes. And this is something that we need to work inside with ourselves, and also when we define the STEAM labs activities. Also, it's necessary to eliminate discrimination, of course. And this thing is together with equal opportunities. We are creating an inclusive space, and always it is difficult because we need to manage different characteristics of the students. Also, we need to manage different kind of spaces. There will be STEAM labs with one room. There will be STEAM labs with several rooms. So we need also to take into account that if we have students working in one room and they should also work in another with computers or other kind of technologies, we need to ensure that all the students can access these spaces and can access in an equal way. So, for example, if there are information for students from different languages, or if there are spaces that voice go more, for example, if there are computers, if you should check if the computers are always used by boys instead by girls, because if that situation occurs, you need to find a way to change and to give access to the computers in an equality way to all the students in the STEAM lab. And with these free access, we will create equality education. Of course, there are many things to work on each of these. So in order to define our STEAM lab approaches, we need to reflect also on these things. This is not so difficult because we will give you guidelines for the STEAM labs. You have the guidelines and you already have many methods and many techniques to ensure that the space is inclusive. But we need to reflect also on how we do this. So there are, here is also, this screen is also explaining the video. But this one, I want to focus on the content review. We will create, and you will create, materials for use in the STEAM lab. Maybe the material is a presentation with pictures, but you need to take into account co-educational approach when you define contents. Also, this is for the STEAM lab, but you also can apply in your classroom. When you define contents, you have to take into account the persons that appear in these contents. They reflect the diversity of your school. This is very important. Also, it is important to take into account and review the messages that we use. Sometimes we use expressions. For example, in Spain, we use many times the expression, if you are working hard and you are working many hours a day and you are working in detail, you are working like a Chinese person. Okay? So these kind of messages that are in our culture sometimes could be a problem. So we need to review our contents to avoid these kind of expressions, because maybe there is a Chinese person in our classroom and it's a girl or a boy, and maybe she or he doesn't understand that this expression is not a bad thing, and you need to explain. So you need to check this when you are in the STEAM lab, and also in order to review the materials that you use. Important also identify roles and stereotypes. We replicate roles and stereotypes across many materials, always, because we have ourselves have several stereotypes in our minds. So we need to reflect and analyze this in order to try to reduce this kind of stereotypes. For example, there are many stereotypes related to religion. If you are a Muslim, you will have these characteristics. And if you are Catholic, you will have these characteristics. So you need to avoid replicate stereotypes that sometimes are not real. Okay. And also for boys and girls, the main stereotype is related to blue for boys, pink for girls. And we need to check graphic, tests, also when we speak, and also the kind of activities that we define. And now to finish, we will do something together. It will be something short, but I think it's a very good way to reflect about this and learn meanwhile. So we will do a SWOT analysis: strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And we will do together, okay? So I will share this link. Okay, let me copy and ensure that you have access. Editor, okay. Okay. I'm sharing the whole screen, yes, okay. And how we will use to prepare this analysis, at least a part of this analysis. We will focus on this, okay? There are several ways to analyze co-education in our contest, but we will focus on this one because I think it's easier for starting today. So we will analyze our center organization. This will help us also to know if we are applying good inclusive and diversity approaches and how we can solve or improve. So we will analyze the government bodies inside our school. what is the number of men and women who make up the educational institution government bodies, how they distribute the tax. Also, when we have meetings with other teachers, and in particular in the project, but also with another teachers in my area, my department in the school, how each intervention evaluated according to the gender cultural backgrounds of the speaker, and what criteria are used to order the proposals to be discussed. Also, we need to analyze the documents in our center. So when we have different plans, curriculums, etc., how they are. And also, they are using the language in a correct way. They are using good examples. They reflect the diversity of our school. And also, if we know about the budget of our institution, you know how much is invested in equality and inclusion, in organized activities or defined plans or taking into account these. And also, finally, how is the relationship between the people who is part of this educational community, between the students, the teachers, the parents, if they have good communication, if they are listening, if they discuss in a very good way. So I will put this also in these slides that you can join right now in the chat. Okay, I will copy. I will put here. Okay. This one. Okay. So you can see the indications here. Okay. And the idea is that you start to complete, we will do together. Okay. The strength, weakness, and opportunities that we detect in our center related to diversity and inclusion. So these questions are guidelines only. So the idea is that we will start with the strength. And what strength we can find in your center, in your school, to foster inclusion and diversity. You have a kind of guidelines to support inclusion and diversity in your school, because if you have guidelines, maybe we can apply to your STEAM lab. Do you have materials to support group activities with the students from different cultures, with the students from different backgrounds? This is our strength. When we are talking about the strength, if we go to the diagram, we are working on inside our school, which things are helpful for achieve our objective. Our objective today is to achieve inclusion and diversity in the school, but also in particular in the STEAM lab. So this you can write. So please start to write or share your ideas by the microphone and I can write. Okay. So strengths. How are the strengths to create inclusive spaces and diversity spaces in your school? For example, in my case, I'm in a university, but doesn't matter. We have a gender equality plan in our university. So there is some guidelines to ensure equality for students and staff. Okay. I will put here usar. so it's easier to identify. Okay, you can use the questions to answer. So you can answer the questions. For example, regarding the relationship between the people inside the educational community, you take into account diversity when you organize meetings with the parents, or maybe you already implement different kind of inclusive approaches in your classroom. So put here, or maybe one of the strengths are, I'm in a school with the students that don't speak my language, maybe don't speak Spanish or Italian or German or Turkish. But we organize activities, extracurricular activities to support these students. This is a strength. I don't know if you have questions or you can say something.
Our school has 2 girls chess team.
Two
Teams. Chess game. Girl team.
I cannot understand you, Gulay, sorry.
Okay. Our school has chess game.
Chess. Sí.
Game.
Oh,
Team.
ah.
2 teams. 2 teams. Two girl teams.
Ah, okay. Okay, I understand. And can you write?
I couldn't find the link. There's the link. Can you send the link?
Okay. So I can put inside the. Okay, for example, support for students in languages. So we are trying to identify things that you are already done related to inclusion and diversity in your school. Because they are a strength. They can help us to create an inclusive space in the STEAM labs also.
I want to share with all of you, for example, in our case, in La Salle, no? La Salle, the starting point of our center as a university was in the past more or less 30, 40 years ago with the topics of engineering and physics. Then the 95% are men in this type of careers, in this type of degrees. I think that more or less about 19s, it started the image and sound, like a division of the telecommunications, and with the image and sound start to increase the number of women in the classes. And when the university has increased its volume, no, with other materials, with other technical degrees, like for example architecture. With architecture, the number of the women in this case in the teachers, students, etc., has grown very quickly. And 10 years ago, 20 years ago, all the governance, the direction of the faculty was brothers of La Salle, no? Catholic brothers and men. But in this case, with the structures, for example, of architecture, with the structures of image and sound, also with the structures of animation and digital visual effects, with more women in the last 5 years, we can find more or less in a 50% in the direction between men and women. When we see the distribution of the research groups inside of La Salle, also we can see, for example, that the 3 groups more focused on engineering, maybe we can find a 75% of men and 25% of women. But you can see the research groups that, for example, in my case, that are transversal with people from architecture, visual arts, engineering, or other group that is transversal with the marketing and digital business, etc. More or less we have 60, 50, 56%, 60% of women in our groups and 40, 55% of men. For us, we don't have any type of exclusion or division, but when I rise to the university, we can see now this more or less the separation of the interest, no, the motivation of the students to address in one direction or in other directions, in function, in this case, of the gender. Also, for example, I think that I have put here. This is the second year that in the first week of the course, in the first week of the course, we pass on a psychotechnic test. With this psychotechnic test, we can find some possible problems about calculus, about the thing, that the relation, spatial relationships for the people, that the tutors of the school and also the students can share between tutor and the student to make some type of new groups and to advise the teachers that maybe this person that has some problems of dyslexia, or maybe this has a problem of hyperactivity, or maybe this person has not any type of problem, a psychological problem, but maybe has a problem in the 3D conceptualization, or maybe in the relations between others. We can help to these students to start in the first course of the university and to jump this type of barrier. I will put here. I think that is a good idea, no?
Yes, thank you, David. I also share some examples. So, for example, if your school has volunteers to support immigrant students,
yeah.
This is a strength, because you already have this kind of approach, and maybe you can also use these volunteers in the STEAM labs. Or maybe there are measures and rules to avoid bullying and cyberbullying. And these measures maybe could be updated to avoid any kind of problem related to discrimination. So the idea, we will finish the training of diversity and inclusion, but the idea of this kind of activity is to analyze our current situation of inclusion and diversity in our schools. I'm sure that most of you are already working on inclusion in your classroom and in the school. So this is very good to transfer to the STEAM lab. The STEAM lab is a mix between a classroom and another open space. So we can apply some of the guidelines that we use in the classroom to apply in the STEAM lab. And you will have this material to check. So you can have in the videos, short videos that you already have in the platform, you have some guidelines to create coeducational practices, and they can be applied to the STEAM labs. Also, you have, I will share here because I suppose that not all people check, but to finish, you can see my presentation.
Yes.
Okay. At the end of the videos that you already have, you can find two tools. This rubric, that is a short rubric to analyze coeducational practices, okay, it's general. You can use for your classroom, for a short learning activity, or you can use for the STEAM labs. It's short, we can introduce more indicators, but this is short because I want to apply this kind of rubric in a fast way. So when you start to create the learning units for the STEAM labs and you start the implementation, taking into account these indicators, is the same that I already explained. And also, if you want to take into account this other kind of tool, when you design the learning units, this is complementary to the guidelines that you already received. This is a canvas. This is something simple in which you have different topics that you have to cover when you define any kind of activity, any other activity. This can be used maybe for your classroom. We test in different spaces in higher education and primary and secondary education. And this is something, a guideline. So you can complete the STEAM lab guideline with this one. But the most important is the rubric. Simple. So you need to check if you are taking into account diversity in these indicators, if you are using language in a good way, if the contents reflect the diversity of the school, of the community in which students are involved. Also, if the spaces inside the STEAM lab are setting in a equality way between all the participants in the STEAM lab. Also, if they have equal access, not only for use, but also to achieve that tool. For example, if you put the tools in a table that is very high, maybe there are students that are shorter and they cannot access the tool. Okay, this is an example. And also take into account leadership. When you are working in a space with different students, an open space like an STEAM lab, that this is not exactly the classroom, you need to take into account leadership, because usually there are no female presence in leadership roles, usually, okay? It's not always, but usually. So you need to manage this. And this occurs not only with females, but also if you have students from other cultures or different characteristics. So take into account this when you are working in the STEAM lab. And you can check the video, and I hope if you have questions, you can ask me now or after. You can find me in the forum.
I think that you have done or you have given us a lot of information.
Yes, and it was short.
Yes, in a short time. I think that the most important thing today and also in the Monday is to know the people, to know that, for example, for any question, how to address any type of activity with diversity, or what can be a solution that you are thinking in your school or in your space, you can contact with Alicia. This is the idea of these pills. We have developed some videos that are in the platform that you can has the link, you can review the links. We have also put in for other videos and for other pills more documentation with the step-by-step ATC. And today, this is a very short presentation that for me, the main idea of these pills is to know that, for example, something about diversity, what are you thinking about, how to share your ideas, what do you, for example, one project that we can develop in one session in my class, or maybe in 2 sessions, or maybe in 1 trimester or 1 semester, or between 2 classes. This approach can be useful. This approach can be measurable. It can be what is the better assessment. Then contact with Alicia, and of course with me if you want. In the next weeks, we will share with all of you our idea that the questionnaires that we are developing to pass in the first moments to develop an activity or a practice, to identify the profiles of the students, also the needs, the motivations, etc. And in the final process, when we have finished an activity or a project or a class, to have the questionnaire about the satisfaction of the students, the satisfaction of the teachers, maybe the motivation to follow using this space and this type of projects, to develop this type of projects. Now Alicia is showing that in the real system, we have a folder with the September 2021 pills. Here you can find the 6 pills, in this case, the diversity pill, perfectly, is the pill that Alicia has explained.
Okay.
Here
Yes.
you have the videos.
See, this is a short introduction to the concepts.
Okay.
And this is some guidelines to create educational activities.
And
okay?
the PowerPoint will be included in the folder,
Here.
the diversity pill. Okay.
Yes, the PowerPoint is here. So
perfect. It's the same, for example, in the 3rd hour that I will develop the augmented reality pill. You have here 2 videos with the step-by-step. I think that is better to see the videos in order to repeat all the steps. And inside of the folder, I have put the documentation and a document that you can print or you can read with all the screenshots of all the steps, and also the PowerPoint that we will present in a few minutes. But then we need to go to the second pill of the session. The second pill of the session is my team that is in other building. Jaume, you need to. you are using my background. You are using my background because they, Jaume and Joan and Juan, yes, they are in a soterráneo in English. I don't know which. They are more or less 7 meters under floor. They are not in Miami or in the Caribbean.
Unfortunately, we are not there.
Okay, now I will give you the make a host in order to share your screen and to tell us about how to make and the procedures of making a 3D printing.
Okay, so first thing, welcome to everyone. We are Juan and Jaume. We are going to introduce you this second pill about 3D printing. Okay, well, you know that you have all the videos and the documents. You have everything. We hope that you had time to check. If not, you will have time to check everything. Now we have a small presentation because just we want to introduce them the most important points, and then we will proceed to with the 3D printing that we have here. Okay, because the most important thing is that you you know how to work with the 3D printing machine. Before to start, we wanted to explain you important thing is that for example, in my case, I learned how to use one of these machines with the pills like you have. Okay, so I learned it with one pills more or less the ones that you have. And we have Juan that is much more expert than me. Okay, so let's go to start. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. No, yeah. Okay, I hope that you can see this small presentation that we did for you. First, no puedo pasar. Ah, no. Tienes que pasar tú, ¿vale? Vale, okay. First, we wanted to explain you that the works that we did, we use it for several participations with different projects here at the university. For example, we did these ones with the cards, the game of cards of Charles Ames. For example, we use these cards to work with the students in all the sessions. Working with them like this, they could have one dimension and then work with the 3D printing that we are going to show you. Okay. Also, these cards, we use it, so they use it to create different pavilions, and then we use working with the panels and image that you will learn this in another pill, how to work with images. And also these pavilions that the students design, at the end they could finish with the real representation with using the 3D printing, like you can see here on these images. Okay, what is 3D printing? Maybe for some of you it's familiar, 3D printing, but like we can see here on this image, produce objects through the additional of layers, material that correspond to the successive cross-section of the 3D model. Actually, this sentence, we are going to check now what happens when we want to create a volume, a form with the 3D printing machine. So you will understand what is all these layers that is meaning in this sentence. Okay, type of 3D printing machines, we have 1,000 on the market. Okay, we can find many 3D printing machines, some more expensive than others, and with different kind of materials. But in general, they work with two different materials. One is with filament, and the other one, it will be with resin. Okay, the one that we have here in the top part, it's with filament, and this type of machine is with resin. Okay, now we are going to show you the difference between them.
They are the most common.
Yeah, exactly. For example, these two types, the most common one, work different. Okay, well, like you can see, one is by filament, this kind of material that then you will we will check more. Is working with one thing like this.
A roll of filament.
Okay, a roll of filament that is this type of plastic that is more ecological than the resin. So if you are working with the students, you need to know that the resin is toxic. So, well, I'm sure that you know, but the resin is toxic, so it's much better the filament. Okay, and the machine works making warm the material, and like this, when the material is warm, we start to build the volume that we have, that we want. Well, and the resin, sorry, I didn't explain the resin because it's the toxic one. So, but you know, you need to know that it's on the market. The resin one works different. Okay, you have a recipient full of resin, and then by a laser, the laser it's making warmer the resin, so it's building the volume that we want inside of the box of resin. Okay, and then you take it out the resin that when you don't use it, and you keep the volume. Okay, what we need to print in 3D?
A filter of filament.
Yeah, actually, from now we are going to explain you the filament machine. Also, because it's not toxic, and you can find machines like this that are the price is okay. It's not too high, and they are okay actually. These kind of machines. For the reason we are going to explain you this, that is the most common, and the cheap. It's the price. It's okay. So what we need to print in a 3D? Basically, three things, okay? First thing, the 3D model, that now we are going to show you the different forms that we have to build or to download a volume, a 3D model. Then a slicer, that is a software that we will need between the model and the 3D printer, and then the 3D printer, okay? Here we type different, for example, different software, different slicers, but we are going to work with one that is free and that it's very simple. Okay.
Si puedes explicar por qué necesitamos el slicer.
Sí. Well, we have the 3D model, okay, and between the 3D model and the 3D printer, we need the slicer, that is the software that is going to divide the volume in layers, and like this 3D printer, we are going, it will print layer by layer, right? Okay, perfect. So the first thing, the 3D model. We have one option that is use Tinkercad, that is a free software to create your own volume, okay? So with this software, you can create the volumes that you want, that you decide, okay? So this is the first option that you have.
It's very easy to use.
Yeah. So don't worry for this kind of softwares because are very, very simple to use. Okay. So
and they are free.
And yeah, the most important thing, they are free. Yeah. And then the second option that we have is to download volumes that they are already done. Okay, from internet. You have many websites where you can download already a volume that it's done.
And in these webs, you will find an educational projects.
So yeah, you can find projects that are already prepared for students. Okay. Then the second thing that we need, like we say, is the slicer. So this software that is going to divide the volume that we want by layers. So we are going to need these layers to use it on the 3D printer, because the 3D printer, like we said, it's reading layer by layer, so it's printing layer by layer. So for this reason, we need this type of softwares to divide the volume. Now we are going to show you how to do it. It's very simple, don't worry. And then, of course, the third part and the last part, it's the 3D printer, okay? Here, we show you two types of 3D printers. These 3D printers are from AnyCubic. Actually, it's a brown. They pay nothing to us, but we think that are the more price. So the way that they work and the price that they have are the more okay. So yeah, and one of these is the one that we use it. Okay, and now we are going to show you how to use it, one of these. Here we put the reference and the price that they had when we checked. Okay, and the machines arrive, so they are very simple. The way to use it are very, very simple. So don't worry for these things, because yeah, are the more common. Okay, and let's go to start with example. Is the most interesting thing to you, I hope. Like we say at the beginning, we have a volume, then we bring the volume to the slicer, and then we create the volume. For example, this one that we have here is the same one that you have on the presentation. Okay, and now we are going to do the same with a practice. So we are going to do like this. You can see all the steps that we will need to do this with the 3D printer. Okay, so let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, I think that we need to stop to share because, or
No.
okay,
Bueno, okay.
yeah, exactly. It will be better. Okay, now we are going to open Cura. That is one of the softwares, the one that we explained to you, that it's this slicer software that it's free. Okay, so we
Now, one part.
Yeah.
We start with the model, with the 3D model.
Yeah, okay. So we are going to start with the 3D model. So the 3D model we already have. We already have the 3D model done. Okay, like we said, you can use Tinkercad or download the volume. Both things is okay. And we bring this 3D model to Cura. Okay, that is this layer software. That is this one that you are watching right now. Okay, when you will open, you will see this, the same thing that you are watching now. Yeah, here we have the name of the 3D printer that we have. Actually, can you see our mouse on the screen? We don't know if you can. Yeah, okay, yeah. Perfect. Thank you. So, like we are showing you on the screen, first the name of the machine that we have here. Then the general PLA is the material that we are going to use. This material, like we say, it's going to be this filament, that is PLA. Okay, so just we need to say which type of material we are going to use.
We have more materials.
Yeah.
We have PLA, nylon, PJ.
Yeah.
But the most common and the most easy to print is PLA.
Yeah, and actually it's cheap also, this type of materials. Okay, and now we are going to open the third part, that is the menu. Okay, in this menu, the first thing that you are going to open is very small, so it's better to go to customize the menu. This is where we are going to decide all the things for our volume. But before we bring our volume here, right? Well, now we are closing everything because like this you can see all the volume. But before everything, we are going to bring the 3D volume, the 3D model to our Cura. Okay, just we are going to found on the folder.
We need an file with extension STL.
Okay. So the extension will be STL for the volume, and we bring, and already when you bring the 3D model, the 3D volume, the software, it will bring you the volume in the middle of this square. Okay, this square, well, like I'm sure that you know, it's the square that we have, the place that we have to print. We don't have more than this. Okay, in this machine. So now that we have the volume here, let's go to check the menu that we have, and we are going to go one type by so one by one, the quality, the walls, like this we can explain you one by one.
Setting the parameters.
Yeah, exactly. All the parameters. Yeah. Okay, the first one, the quality, layer height. The layer height is, like we say, and I don't know if actually we can't see it.
Yeah. First of all,
yeah, exactly. When we bring the volume, if we check here on the
slice,
here down on the screen on the right, we can see that if we check the preview view, the machine. So now exactly perfect. Now the machine is telling us how many layers the machine automatically are cutting, so are cutting the volume that we have. Okay, and with the parameters that we have right now, the software is telling us that it will take 3.5 hours to print this volume. Okay, depends of the layers that we are going to say to the volume, and depends of the thickness that we are going to say, the time to print is going to increase or decrease. Okay, so now we are going to check changing the parameters of the menu. the hours to print, it will change, okay? The first thing, the quality, is the layer height. So it's the dimension of each layer. So like you can see here, all of these layers in red, it's the dimension that they are going to have, okay? So this is the quality. And we have now 0.2 millimeters.
More heights, less time to print,
Exactly.
and less definition.
Okay.
The best value recommend is 0.2. No.
So this is the size, so the dimension that is recommended, okay, 0.2 millimeters. The quality, it's quite good. You are not going to have problems when you are going to print. And also we wanted to explain to all of you that work with the 3D printers at the beginning when you don't really know how it's going to be. You need to try at the beginning. And sometimes the first volumes that you are going to do, it will be wrong. So, but it's okay. When you will take ability with these sets, with these settings, it's going to be okay. But now we are going to show you the good parameters. Okay, so this will be the quality. Then the walls, it's the walls of the volume. Okay, so all this green line
And red.
and red, exactly.
The
The thickness that they are going to have all the walls. So now here we can say 3 different parameters.
Let's try it with 3 or 4 walls.
And we check.
We'll see.
And you can see here that the lines, and the lines increase. So we have 1 red and 2 and 3 green ones. And also the time increased, okay, because it was at the beginning was 3 hours and now they are 4 hours, just because we put 2 layers more on the walls. When we decide if we have more walls or less walls, well, with the practice, but if you put 1 wall, the meaning is that the wall is going to be very thin, and maybe you will have the possibility to break the wall. Okay, so with two walls, it's going to be more consistent. Okay, so the thickness will be better. Okay, this for the walls, and then the top and the bottom are the 2 layers that we have on, like we say, the top on the bottom, just how many layers we are telling to the machine to put on the top and in the bottom. Right now we had 2 and 2 layers, so 2 layers on the top and on the bottom, because now later we are going to check what happens inside. Also here on the left part of the screen we have one button that it's this that we are moving, that it's cutting the volume. Like this, we can see what is happening if we cut the volume. Okay, now we can see all these
1, 2,
exactly. These are the 2 layers, the yellow and the green one. If we cut down,
2 layers at the top and 2 layers
in the bottom.
in the bottom.
And then if we check the other one that is in fill, we are going to check.
Let's see what happens if we increase the top layers and the bottom layers. For example, 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom. We click on slice.
Well, the time will increase 1 hour more.
If we check the slice,
1, 2,
3, we'll see 4 layers at the top and 4 layers at the bottom. And the time,
it was 1 hour. It's 1 hour more. Actually, all of this, it's the time that we are going to spend, the material that we are going to spend, and then the thickness and the consistency. So the result will be the thickness and the consistency. Okay, so we need to take care about time and material that we are going to use.
2 layers at the top,
Yeah,
and 2 layers at the bottom.
This is more normal things for this kind of volumes. Okay, and then the second one, so the second thing is the infill. This is the how many lines we are going to say to bring inside. So for the consistency of the material inside. Okay, here we have a
If we
10.
increase
Yeah, exactly.
the infill and we click
Well, maybe this is too much.
the infill increase,
Well, but you can see that now it's 7 hours printing.
the time increase and the piece
Yeah, the material that you are going to spend, it's high, so it's too much material for one piece like this. Actually, if we change to, I don't know, 30, for example. Okay, still a lot of material, because you don't need all of this material to do one piece like this. Actually, maybe you have a question of, okay, but how many I need? Well, between 10 and 20, right? With between 10 and 20, it will be enough. Actually, this is just to keep the top and the bottom in their position, okay, in his position. So, and like this, you can push and it's not going to break.
Now we have the walls, the top, the bottom, the vertical walls, and the infill.
Yeah.
Material.
Okay, the material. The material, we need to say how many, so the temperature that we are going to bring to the machine to print, okay? But for this, don't worry, because the brown where you buy the material, this filament, the brown is going to tell you in which centimeter, in which temperature we need to print, okay? For example, this one that we have here, and actually
Every brand have
their own temperature. For example, this one
have a temperature of 215.
215. Okay, so change 215.
15.
Ah, sorry, 15.
And the next is the bed.
Ah, yeah. So the first one is the temperature for the filament, okay, and the second one is the temperature for the machine. The bed is this square that we have here, where we are going to print, because this bed also need to be a bit warm, okay? Yeah.
¿Se ve bien un poco?
Sí, yo creo que se ve. No te preocupes.
¿Sí?
Yeah, the bed is this one of here, okay? Okay. We will finish soon and we will start to print.
60.
Yeah. 60 is the normal temperature.
Because this temperature
you will be able to yeah. With this kind of temperature, we don't let the volume can be stick with the bed like this. It's not going to move, because if not, if it's cold, the bed, if it's cold, then when we put the material and the machine is printing, maybe the volume can move. So with this kind of temperature, it's a stick, and then it's going to be very easy to take it out.
Well, next, the speed.
Okay, the speed of the machine. Okay, how this, don't be crazy, don't put too high, because if not, the machine, it's going to be too fast, and the definition is not going to be very good. Okay, so the speed is for the soft of the material and the definition of the volume.
Nunca más de 60.
You don't bring more than 60. Okay,
40.
40 is okay. Okay, travel, this is the thing, because if we have two volumes in the same printing, okay, the machine need to travel from one volume to another one. So it's better to click both to enable retraction. That is the machine is going to print, and then it's going to take a bit of the material to go to the other volume. If not, if we don't check this, the material can be between the two volumes, and the definition is not going to be very good.
Always enable.
Yeah, both. Okay, cooling is the fan speed, like you can read. Always 100, because like this, the machine. But here you have the fan. Always it's better to switch on and 100%.
Jaume,
Yeah.
if you can approach the camera to the 3D print, maybe it will be better to because now it's yes.
True.
Perfect, because it's more easy to understand all the steps. But remember that all the steps, I think, are inside of the videos and the step-by-step documentation about the pill. Okay.
This is the bed where we are going to print, and the fan and everything. It's over there. Okay, but well, it's nothing to see now more. Maybe we finish with the
And then
the software. No?
yeah.
We finish with the software and we show all the machine.
Yeah. ¿Dónde lo tenemos?
Sorry. Okay, everything is done. Okay, so we don't need to touch nothing more. The printing of this volume, it will be 3 hours and a half. Don't be worried for okay. Don't be worried for the time, because like you can see, we can let the machine printing and go to bed. It's okay. Okay. Next step is to record it everything on this card. Okay. So let's go to save everything. Okay, we are saving. Now we are going to show you how to put the filament on the machine and everything. So don't worry. We are saving everything.
¿Dónde está la carpeta?
¿Quieres buscar?
¿Una carpeta?
Ahí, ¿no? No, pues no, fuera de carpeta.
Okay. Now save to disk.
Cambiar el nombre y ya está. Bueno, está bien, ¿no?
We have some problems.
We will do it, don't worry. Okay, let's go to save. Okay, you know, when you want to do it, everything okay, something wrong happens, but it's okay. Let's go to take another card, and we will save everything. Perfect.
I think that any training is better when we find problems, no?
Yeah.
If we don't find problems and all is perfect, I don't like, because when I am alone and I need to develop the practice is the moment when I can find problems. And remember, dear teachers, partners, etc. This is the idea. The idea is that you can know that you can meet with Juan, with Jaume, to solve any problem when you are developing. Maybe if you develop this type of pill inside of your in your STEAM lab, and if you don't like this approach, it's not necessary. But remember, for us, the STEAM lab can have some type of elements like microelectronics, maybe to make 3D mockups, 3D prints, social lab, media lab, user lab. There is a lot of approaches that can be useful to develop inside of the CreaSTEAM. And the most important thing is not the hardware or the software. The most important thing is try about or think about a pill and a project and a practice to develop some type of diversity that you can find in your school, or maybe to train your students about some issues focused on diversity.
Okay, now that we have recorded on the card, okay, let's go to start. Okay, first thing,
First of all, we have to preheat the machine.
okay, so preheat the machine. So to preheat the machine, very easy.
See?
Same.
Then go to the menu of the printer and tools. We push on tools and preheat. And then we select the preheat PLA. That's the material that we will use. And then the hot end and the bed, we will
Yeah, the bed, it will take warmer step by step. Okay, now they are taking warmer, so we need to let like this few minutes, and we can keep preparing the machine.
Why we do this? Because the next step,
Well, you can see here that it's 88%, and it's keeping warmer. Okay.
this is the hot end and this is the bed. Why we do this? Because the next step we will leveling the level of the bed. For to do this, we need the machine heat.
Okay. Yeah, we need the machine warm to level the bed. Okay. Okay, so we can continue putting the filament. Okay. So no, first
we have.
Okay, it's nearly to finish. I don't know if you can see. Sorry for the. Okay.
Then we go to the My menu, and we will push to the bottom setup and manage menu. Go to the menu and push the button leveling. We need the level of the bed correct. Now we calibrate all the corners for a correct level of the bed. Then the next step, we push on the next button, and the machine will go to the first corner. Now only need a paper and
No? Okay. You just need a paper, okay, to bring the paper between the.
necesitamos que entre el papel.
Okay, we need that the paper entrance between the two pieces, okay.
¿No entra? Si no entra, necesitamos.
Okay, if the paper can't entrance there between the two pieces, we need to calibrate and we need to take it down. So show, okay, how you take it down with this with this, you take down the bed, okay? So to calibrate, just we need to check that the paper can pass through the two pieces of the machine.
Okay.
Okay, now it's okay.
Necesitamos que tenga resistencia.
Okay, we need a bit of resistance, okay, between the two pieces. And we can still calibrating with the other hand.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Yes.
Yeah, we need a bit of resistance, okay, between the two machines.
The paper has to move, but
Okay, let's go.
first corner, second corner.
And we need to do this with each corner 4 times.
Perfect. Then the next step. We calibrate. Okay. Some resistance we need. So have to.
Okay, and the fourth and the last one.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
This step we will repeat another one.
So we need to repeat this step one more time.
One more time. Okay.
So we need to calibrate again the 4 corners,
Perfect.
just to verify. Okay, the machine is asking us this process.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay,
Okay. Machine warm.
okay, we have the machine warm, everything is calibrated.
The bed is calibrated. The next step is the filament.
Okay, for the filament. We need to put the,
Aquí tienes un resultado de la web.
okay, we need to put the filament in this.
In the support, and then we have to pass the filament first of all.
Okay.
First of all, by the detector of the filament.
Okay, the detector, sorry, I'm going to show you what is the detector. The detector is this machine, okay? And we need to pass the filament between, so through this machine.
Okay.
Okay,
And
like you can see, the cable is through.
the next step is the pass the filament by the extruder.
Okay, when we can't put more down the filament, we just need to move this open of here, like this we
Aquí
can.
tienes algunas
more.
imágenes que coinciden.
Okay, and we continue. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Okay.
Until we can't do it more.
Well, the next step is the charge the filament with the printer, and then we go to the menu, to the main menu, and we go to tools, and then we push on the filament button, and then in the filament in. Well, if we see a message that the filament can't charge, is by es porque la impresora no tiene la temperatura correcta.
¿Es porque qué?
La impresora necesita más temperatura.
Okay, if the machine is telling us that the machine can't take the filament, it's because the machine needs to be more warm. So we need to let a bit more time. that the machine keep warmer. But don't worry, because the machine alone it's it's making warmer. Like you can see here. When the machine is okay to print,
Push another one.
okay, so we push again, start to print, okay? The filament. The filament in, it's because the filament needs to go inside. And you can see the filament is moving. It's because the machine is taking the filament. It's taking along the filament, okay?
Until we see the filament.
Okay, and until we will see the filament here, the machine will keep doing this. We'll keep taking the filament.
We'll push stop.
Okay, when we see the filament, we need just to push stop on the screen. It will arrive, don't worry. Sooner. Yeah. Okay. Can you see the material there? So
Then,
now we can say push stop.
okay. The next step.
The next step is to bring our volume. So to bring the card there, sorry. Okay.
Okay. And remove this filament. And then we go to the main menu. We will push on the print button. And then we select the file.
Or file.
Then we will push on print. Okay. Okay. And now the printer, we will use the temperature that we
say on the slicer. So we are what we need to do now.
Now we have to
wait until what?
Until the machine.
So now everything is done.
Everything is done.
So now we need to wait until the machine finish the volume, right? So until the machine brings one volume like this. Okay, now now to all of you, please take coffee because we need to stay here 3 hours until the volume will be finished. Okay, please take coffee, some snacks.
There are some questions.
Or you can go to have a siesta. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you have. Well, this is going to start sooner. It's going to start to build our volume. Okay, now it starts. Okay. Yeah. Now that it's starting, just we wanted to show you that the machine start. Okay, the machine is going to start to calibrate a bit, and then he's going to start the volume. We don't know if you have any doubt. Well, like you can see now, it's bringing the volume in the middle, like it was showing on the slicer software. Okay. We wait until the first line, like like this, you will see, you will be able to see the draw that the machine is doing. And now it's going to print corner, walls,
Layer by layer.
Yeah, layer by layer. So
this is the process.
Yeah, and we don't know if you have any doubt. Please feel free to ask wherever you need, or
I think that you have shown the more or less the step by step, the main problems also, and I think that as on the other pills, the most important thing in this case is if you have a previous experience, you can start, of course, and if you have any problem or you want to start with this type of system and machines, let's go without fear, without scared. And then when you possible have any problem, try to contact with us, and or maybe we can put in contact with other school or with other system or with other team that can be developing the same type of or using the same type of machines, and we can share together to resolve any problem. For us, we think that also one objective of the project maybe is to start with this type of connections between the schools, sharing ideas, sharing projects, sharing problems, and try to solve together. As you can see here now is on a question of time, and that's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We can come back to see the evolution of the element. And now
we'll be here.
Yeah. And now I will start the last part of this afternoon session, and I will talk about augmented reality. And I will share my screen. I will share my one moment. I will put this presentation and the full meeting here. Now I will sorry. Just 1 second. Share screen. Okay. Okay. As you know, my name is David Fonseca from La Salle Ramon Llull University. And the idea of today, of this last pill, is to talk about augmented reality. My little presentation, and maybe if you have any question and to discuss, will be focused more or less in some ideas about the augmented reality history, uses, and education. What can be an approach that we propose for the schools, maybe to give one initial idea. And I want also to share with you some examples of use that we have developed in the past in our school using augmented reality. I want to start with a little freaky story, because augmented reality has a lot of uses, and this is an old technology. And in the cinema, in the collective imaginarium, we can see some examples about where we can see augmented reality examples. For example, starting in 1977 with Star Wars, in the helm of Darth Vader has some type of infrared system to see more data. Also with, if you are not from a follower of the Star Wars, you can see other examples in Star Trek, also with Terminator, with Predator, with Robocop, with animated characters like Dragon Ball, and in the films like Minority Report, when you can interact with virtual elements that are superposed using some type of element in the real life. In our society, the first steps or the first ideas that can connect with the idea of augmented reality are the use of the QR codes. Of course, I think that all of you and in this moment, all of our students are using QR codes for a lot of tasks. In this case, I can show, no, in the upper level, for example, QR codes for tourism applications. There is a lot of places in a lot of countries around the world when you can see a QR code in a monument, in a heritage site, to view augmented data or to have more information about the place that you are visiting. For example, in the New York City, the Department of the Buildings, as you can see in the upper level also, this is a system to use the state of the building, the state of the payments of the building, the state of the construction of the buildings, and you can see a lot of data using the QR codes. In aviation, in army, in defense, the helm of the pilots of flights can see a lot of information, as well as with the Google Glass. Is the same idea. There are cars that are developing these systems to show in the front panel data that can help the driver to take decisions and to give information about any type of problem in the road. And this is other example. And finally, using a different type of marks, you can see a lot of elements in different ways. In this case, for example, in education, you can see here some type of examples that we have used in the past in our school to show a house, the idea of the house, without to make a physical mock-up with the problem solved and with the cost to create this physical mock-up. We can use indoor, maybe using a mark only in the screen, or maybe in the outdoor. In this case, we have the geolocation. You can create a 3D model to view in a mark or to locate using the GPS system. And when you have activated the camera, you can view the 3D model in the place where you can see. Other examples, for example, we are explaining to our architect students what are the facilities that you can not see because you have the floor, or maybe you can see the wall, and under the wall you have the pipes of water, electricity, and other elements. And the idea is that using a 3D or 2D mark, you can see what are the elements that are inside of in this case of the floor, or in this case of the wall. For training, to understand some complex concepts, if you use the elements like a mark, then you can add text to explain better the idea of this element. Then, using different photos, you can add more elements. More examples. As you can see here, this is an experience making the past when the students need to show their work using or making 3D models and 2D models, in this case using an CAD system, and then to explain, they have the free model to show the projects. For example, in this case, this is the typical joke that you can open the paper, and in the faces of the paper, you can see different information. Capturing the information with the QR code, you can view more information about the project. This is like a book with information about the project and with QR codes that are connecting with more data. This is an example. We will see after a clear example, and a cube with 6 faces, and in each face you have data that with the smartphone or with a tablet you can see augmented data. In this case, scanning a face, you can see the 3D model of the house. As you can see, you can use a lot of elements like a simple panel with paper, or maybe other elements. This is a boxes of the freezer that the students has reworked, no, to make this type of like a 3D model of the house, and in the different layers of the house you can see other elements. Here you can see other panel with an image, and when you scan the panel with your smartphone, you can substitute the image, the 2D image, with the 3D model of the house. Here a lot of examples. Also, remember that we will have these elements, these videos and this PowerPoint inside of the platform. This is a very typical use for uses in education, to show 3D elements, to engage with videos for science, also for anatomy. In this case, you can see a little child with some type of marks that when you are using the smartphone, you can substitute the data that you can see here from the real data or from other video. No? For example, this is a case that we have developed with 6 faces of the cube. In this case, in one faces, we have information about the location of the element that we can show to the audience, to the visitors, with an QR code that you access to the Google Map. Here you can see the building, in this case with different QR codes that connect with YouTube to show more data and to show the video of the process of the building. Here in this year was the system that we used to make the augmented reality. In this case, we don't have used the Unayo, we will use other system. Here, for example, other cube, no, the other part of the cube with the access to view the plans that has been done with AutoCAD, data about the architect, or including, in this case, the 3D experience using low-cost glasses. No? The approach proposed, what we think, or why we think that we can use augmented reality in a STEAM lab, because STEAM lab, I think that more or less a great number of students has a smartphone, or maybe on a tablet, or maybe the schools can share this type of systems to the students to make an approach. Then, for example, the first element that I think is the conceptualization of the model. What we want to view, what we want to create. We want to create the reconstruction of a church, the reconstruction of an ancient building, the reconstruction of a square. Maybe we want to share some new platform or new elements to show, to move, what we want to do. And the space, we want to work inside of the building, outside. We want to put maybe on a panel close to the river to identify birds, to identify the vegetation, to identify the trees. First of all, conceptualization. Second one, from drawings and sketching to CAD model, we invite to make this type of design, starting maybe with the pencil, or if you have any CAD system like TinkerCAD, for example, or other system, you can start drawing what do you want to do. In this case, for modeling, basic models, you can use the TinkerCAD. It's a free software, an online software. It's not necessary to install in any type of computer, then it's better. It's not a heavy application, like, for example, AutoCAD. And if you want, or you think about a complex model, we can create for you. Okay, this is the idea. For example, you want to create a cover for a place that can be with a system that is curved, we don't understand how Tinkercad can be made this approach, then no problem. You can give us the idea, more or less the dimensions of the element that you want to create, and we will done for you. We will try to do as soon as possible. We have some people that can give us support to create a 3D elements in a short time. Then we will return you the idea of the 4-point. Then when we have created the 3D element using AutoCAD or using Tinkercad or using IntelliCAD, MicroStation, any system, any digital system, then we need to export and to include inside of the augmented reality platform, in this case, AR Media. Then for all the schools and for all the partners, you can check the best option. In the video of the bill and in the step-by-step of the bill, we can show that AR Media has different options. For example, if you want to create 1, 2 models, it's very easy that each student, each teacher has a free license. It's not necessary to pay. Maybe we want to explore more ideas and we want to create an exposition, and maybe then it's possible to think about to pay for a license of this software. And finally, the visualization. The visualization is a free application that you can download in your smartphone or in the tablet and to see the elements. Final, the assessment, the evaluation. As we have previously commented, we are developing the system to assess all the process, students, teachers, previously and after the development of the practice. Some examples. This is the house of cards that Jaume explained before. House of cards is something like this one. This is house of cards. What is house of cards? It's the original system. There are cards that was created by Charles and Richard Ames, as you can see here. Okay, there is a lot of cards with images and elements, and the idea is that these cards can make this type of to join different elements in different positions, as you can see here, and then you can create a space that more or less can be useful to design an ephemeral space to use like an exposition to show any type of element, maybe to create a chair or to create a table with a concrete size in this case. In the past, in our subject, for example, this is an outside placement in a square. We decide to divide the space, this space in different parts and assign to a group of 2-3 students one part of this space, and taking into account the idea of these cards and the idea that the elements need to be joined together to create a space. When we can show, when we can design a flow for the visitors. I will share the PowerPoint and you can see an example and a video with the students and the final interaction of the students here in this link. Okay. As you can see here, this is the other step that are related with the idea of these pills. On the Monday, we will explain about photocomposition, the main rules to create a photocomposition of elements, because we think that it's better to explain some rules of composition than not to explain how to take a photo, because maybe to take a photo or maybe to explain Photoshop, there is a lot of applications that our students are experts than us. In this case, as you can see here, the idea is that using these pieces and the liberty, the free mode that the students can create the space, they design the space that they have developed using the elements. the process to create the elements, as you can see here, no, to show an exposition. You can see here other samples. In this case, for example, this group has developed 3 elements with 3 sizes, and with these 3 pieces, develop this element, for example, to make an exposition of art with a place also for the persons. Other example here, in this case, with the same idea. First of all, design of the size of the pieces, and then to create the space combining them. Here, for example, other example with other type of pieces. And as you can see here in the school final, we made this this is not 3D print, but using heavy paper, no, to create a point of information at the first moment when you enter in the school. Here now you cannot see, but in the past there are on a screen with other papers about the plans of the school, and in the first moment when the students arrive to the school, you can see here the main data of all the buildings using the same idea. Jaume explained and Joan explained before, no, the idea that you can conceptualize this process, maybe starting with a system to design the pieces, the size, and finally with the 3D printing create a basic model to understand if it's possible to construct or not the final element, and in the case that cannot be useful to make the construction, maybe you can see using augmented reality in the place when you want to create. Other example, I think that this example can be very useful for understand how can we address some diversity gap. In this case, this is a real case that we have developed in our school. The idea was to approach and to give the possibility to blind people to understand a very complex building like the Holy Family building, Holy Family Church here in Spain. I think that is one of the most known building around the world. Then the idea, what is in our case, what was? First of all, the students visit the Holy Family Basilica, understand the main pieces and the main vegetal elements, for example, that Gaudí was assigned to the church. And in the first step, drawing the elements, we create 3D elements using, in this case, epoxy resin, but now we have 3D printings, and maybe it's more useful to design the pieces and send to the 3D print. To understand if the piece can be very useful for us in this process, previously to the 3D printing, previously to this conceptualization, we used augmented reality to build the pieces. We design the 3D piece, we connect with augmented reality, using a mark, we can see all the parts of the 3D piece, and finally, if the element is good design, we can send to the 3D print to create the model. Also, the students, in this case, connect with the technicians of disabled people. What is necessary? Is necessary a texture? Is necessary this type of element? What is the better size to understand? No? And we have designed the 3D elements in contact with persons that can give us the help to understand, in this case, how the blind people can understand better the space. As you can see here, we have created like a box with different elements, and these elements was give to the blind people to interact and to understand how what are the best or what are the elements that Gaudí was created in the Holy Family building, and then with the experts. In this case, we have a visit, join students, blind people, and experts, explaining the building and explaining and trying to understand the space using and the hands and touching the elements that we can find in the visit of this space. And other example, for example, in this case, we work with a school of La Salle from Almeria in Andalusia, and the project was to develop augmented reality in the title page of a very famous book here in Spain, that is La Reina Descalza. What is the idea? The idea is to put in the cover of the book the biography of the writer, Ildefonso Falcones, also the story of the gypsies in Spain, because the book are related to the gypsies in Spain, slavery in Spain during the 18th century, because the book was focusing in this historical age, tobacco in the 8th century, the city of Seville in the 8th century, and finally the Coliseum of the Prince in the 8th century. What is the idea? The idea is that putting in this case, like a menu, when you are looking the cover of the book, you can select one option of this augmented reality menu, and then you can view a video, you can view a history, you can listen the idea, the history, the documents in your smartphone. As you can see here, for example, this idea was published in different newspapers and also in the website of Ildefonso Falcones. When the book was presented, also was incorporated the idea with the agreement of the author of the book. This is my email. Of course, I also the coordinator of the project. You can send me an email in any moment, and this is the augmented reality pill that I am proposing. Then I will stop share. If you want to see in a different model what is the idea, I also want to share my screen. Okay, then I will share this screen. You can view the screen. I think that this is not the moment to explain how Tinkercad can work. I think that there is a lot of tutorials. Okay, you can draw some different elements here. You can modify the elements. You can make, for example, if you put here, you have some elements that if you join, this is an space. Also, you can import 3D files. For this reason, for example, we can import any piece that we can create, for example, using AutoCAD. In my case, for example, that I can show on the video that has developed, I started drawing with AutoCAD one piece, and then I have imported in the Tinkercad. I have copied and pushed different elements to create a space, and finally, I make an export using the one system that our augmented reality platform can read and can understand. This is a free software. You can make different users. This is it's not necessary to have any application installed in the computer. Then I think that it can be very useful to develop inside of the computers of the students, or inside of the computer of the STEAM lab, or inside of the computers of the computers lab of any school. And this is the platform of AR Media. This is the company, Globe Technologies. I think that is an Italian company. There is some components that you can download. You have here the plans are pricing. We have used this, the free, that has a limitation about the size of the models, and a limitation of uploads per year. This is only for one user. If you have 10 students, maybe 10 users, you can work with a lot of models, the available space, etc. And what you can do with this finite license. Also, you can see here, there is a basic license with only €8 per month. That if we want to develop some type of a complex model, and maybe 1, 2 months, 3 months, I think that can be very more easy. There is more projects that you can develop, and also the Pro, €25 per month, and in this case, practically without any type of education. This is for individuals. If you have education here, a student €4 per month, you have a lot of elements. Is similar to the individual's basic, to the middle of price, and education also has a lot of elements, very cheap. I am not a commercial of RM Media. And if I go inside, I will put my login and password. All steps about how to make an account, how to unactivate the account, etc. was included in the video and was included in the document with the step-by-step. If you have not the possibility to watch the video and to read the documentation, you have uploaded in the system of Real. Okay. We can upload until 10 elements, because I am using the free mode, 10 elements to use in different projects. I can create only one project. Remember, I am using the free mode, but we can upload an element using in this project, watching is okay, is not okay, and if it is not okay, delete and upload other one. Then we can work with 10 elements. The best idea is to try to develop as better as possible the 3D element, to have an idea that this can be the final element that we want to see in augmented reality, and make the final changes in the second, third, or fourth version. And also the final application. For example, if I go to the projects, to the step 2, because I can show that assets we can upload later.
Must be the extension STL.
STL is possible, yeah.
Okay, thank
I don't know. I don't remember if is it STL or can be OBJ.
I don't know OBJ.
For example, in this case, if I go to the project, no, I don't have here projects, new project. I need to put the name of the project. For example, reveal description. You can put here a description. And here you have the 3D basic type of augmented reality systems. If I want to use spatial without any type of mark, you can see in a model. I have proved sometimes, but this is a little more complex. Geolocation, then you can use, is very important in this case to have the correct coordinates to view the model, because you are in a place, and if you have some delay or you have some error, you cannot see anything. And planar, for the first trials, for the first moments, this is the best option because it's more easy to view the 3D element, because you will use an image, no? For example, I will select this one and I will check. Okay. Because I have selected on a planner, the system asked me for an image. In this case, for example, for the tutorial, I have used this one. Okay, this one is a bad image because there is a lot of elements. This grid, there is not high contrast, and then when you are viewing this image with the mobile phone, is so complex because any change in the illumination, in the brightness of the space, it can be more difficult to identify the mark and to view and to put the 3D model inside of this. If you are using an AMAR like this one, with a high contrast, black or white, gray scale, maybe can be more useful and easy to view the 3D element. For example, if I search, where is, I will need to go, for example, here. And I will put, for example, this image is this one. Okay. I have created the mark for this project. Okay. Okay. This is all right. Okay. Good. Assets. Okay. Assets. What are the assets? The assets are the elements that we want to put inside of or over my mark, and if I want to see, I want to watch using the augmented reality. Then if we can add until 10 assets per year, until 500 megabytes. In this case, for example, with I put plus, I have multimedia assets like a video, 3D models, buttons. You can see that these elements are enabled because we are using the free mode. Okay, in my case, I will use the 3D models. And in 3D models, as you can see here, for example, we can put zip files that contain maybe an STL or other elements like FBX, GLB, etc. For example, I will try to put a zip file. This is a zip file. This zip file, this asset, I will go inside to view it. I can view here the, sorry. If I put here, I can view in this part the preview of the image. This is an two pieces that I have created in AutoCAD that I have imported in Tinkercad, and from in Tinkercad I have exported to the augmented reality. Okay. Then I need to go to the projects. I have the target of the cover. No, then I need to new target image is this one. Hello. This is a planner project. Okay, I will do at the same image. Maybe I'm thinking I am doing something that is not correctly. Okay, and
for smartphone, Which application must I install for see these three models?
For view the 3D models in the
No.
Oh.
I think I built a 3D model
Yeah.
and I uploaded here.
Yeah.
And I want to see this 3D model in AR application in my smartphone.
Yeah.
Which application must I install to see it?
Here, this one is iRemedia. Opa, sorry. This application. iRemedia.
Okay. Okay. Is it creating a QR code or how can it?
You can find the application. Where is? Downloads. If you go in the site of iRemedia to downloads, hello. Okay, here you have iRemedia plugins. In this case, for SketchUp. If we know how to use SketchUp, or in my school I have SketchUp, you have a free plugin for SketchUp, and also you have a free plugin for Autodesk 3D Max. And the viewers you can see here. There is the Google Play, the Apple Store, and Apple Gallery.
AR Media Player I will install. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
How can I understand the AR Media Player? Which 3D model I will see in the phone?
Yeah.
Is it?
The idea is, sorry, I will try one moment. Log out. I have some users. If you have some mail, I will start.
When I show the book cover, your book.
Sorry, because the audio is breaking. Sorry, can you repeat, please? Can you repeat, Gulay?
You showed us a book cover project.
Yeah.
You showed us book cover project.
Okay. Now,
and
you can see here.
Can detect it. The picture is the picture is QR code or something. How can it show it?
Okay. Now I will explain. The idea, for example, is as you can see here. No, you can see in the screen, because I am sharing the screen. No, yes, I am sharing the screen. This is the project. I can create the project. I can see here. Sorry, I want to go inside. I can upload the 3D element that I have created with AutoCAD or with Tinkercad ATC. And then here I have the element created. And here is the mark, okay? Then we can move and we can locate the correct position of the element, as well as we can, for example, here in the scale, if we activated the scale and move the scale here, you can see that we can put with some size the element that we have created, okay? When I have done this part, I will save, and then I will outside the scene here. So here I can the project in draft mode, and we need to complete. Now, when the project is completed, here I have the button of preview, and then you can see here a QR code and the mark. All of you now, if you are watching this screen, you can, and if you have the application, you can view the 3D model in your smartphone.
Application reads the QR codes and detects what to show us.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
This is the real moment. I will open the application, okay? The application has a lot of models that we can see, but in my case, I want to see my 3D model. Here, in the upper level, you have an icon of the QR code. I will push, I will pick, then they are searching for QR code, okay? I will show my screen and it identifies the CreaSTEAM pill, is the name that I have put to the project. Open. Now she identifies that they want to look for this mark, okay?
Thank you.
Then in this moment, okay, in this moment, I need to be here, continue. Okay, as you can see in my screen of the smartphone, you can see the screen of my smartphone. Now I am viewing the 3D model. I am viewing the 3D model when the smartphone is working. I can search again. I need to identify the QR code. Continue. And the problems of the direct. Some minutes ago, no? Here, as you can see here, in my screen, okay? The idea is now is more complex. I will try to, with my own, I can move the paper and all the moment that the camera of my smartphone are detecting the 3D mark, the mark, they are placing the 3D model over the mark. And in this case, there is a lot of brightness maybe, and it's not possible. No, I have a brightness in my screen, and this is a problem. You can see the 3D model inside of the. This is the idea, the main idea, that if we create a good mark that in a lot of light conditions can be stable. For this reason, for example, the QR codes, the best QR codes are using black and white because it's the more contrast image that we can apply. Also, we can create a physical mock-up, and in the place where we can see the 3D model to put some type of elements, maybe like code bars, black, white, black, white, black, white. Is the system more stable to use as a mark? Then we can show the 3D model, and using and when the system captures the mark, we can move the mark without any type of problem, and we can see the different elements. If you are using a geolocation or maybe remember that we have 3 types of projects, geolocation and spatial, we can create a 3D model as big as we want. Then we can stay inside of the 3D model. We have done in the past some experiments, are more complex and more unstable, but you can create a big 3D model, and if the model is geolocated or you are located in a place, you can start to move inside of the space, and with the mobile you can view like you are walking inside of a building, inside of a house, inside of a space. This is the idea of the augmented reality. Okay. Then this is this is the idea. This is the explanation about this technology. In this case, it's not necessary and a hardware behind the system. As I have shown you, there is a lot of applications that we can think about how to use inside of the space of the CreaSTEAM. And remember that the idea also is try to find some type of applications or maybe some projects, maybe to show the idea of diversity in our school. If in our school there is a not big problem of diversity about ethnics, immigration, gender, maybe we can explain to our students this type of problem using an approach more technological. Okay. Remember, we are showing, in this case, 3D models, but you can use tests, you can create a button, you can upload a video, you can maybe combine 3D elements that you have created with a print and put in other elements inside of this to show any type of elements, etc. And of course, the main idea, if you have any question or a proposal, or you want to discuss an approach that we can be useful in your class, don't problem, contact with us, and we will try to solve and to manage together and find the best option, okay? I don't know if all the non-video cameras are now here, but in the final moment of this afternoon, I want to make a photo and a screenshot. Kirsten, Yunus, Emanuela, Alicia, are you here? Sergi, okay. All of you, if you are here, manifiéstate, como dirían en la peli. Activate your cameras and I will take a screenshot. Hello. Okay, okay.
Okay, David.
I think that, okay. Ignacio, thank you. I don't know, Elisabetta, Ilenia, Alessia. And I'm out in my street. Okay, I will take the last photo. If you want to, Alicia, if you want to stay in a photo, I will make the under count 10, 8. Oh my God. Aha. 5, 3. Uy, Francesca. 2. Si sigo así contando, parecerá más gente. 2, again. 2. Emanuela, Natalie. 1. 1. Only 1. Last moment. Okay, smile. 1 moment. 3, 2, 1. Smile. See to camera. And copy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for attending. I know that it's not the same and a face-to-face training when we can make a lot of things together and with a lot of interaction. That's these training pills. That the idea is, please see the videos,